Welcome to the Whole Athlete Podcast, where we focus on discussing topics to help you become a fat burner, optimize health, and improve performance in life and sports. Transform the whole you from the inside out with the WHOLESTIC Method. Let's dive in. Here's your host, Debbie Potts.
Hey everybody, it's Debbie Potts, your host of the Whole Athlete Podcast, and this is a new episode of my solo Thursday podcast called Real Thoughts with Debbie Potts. And today I'm going to dive into the role of the liver and liver detoxification processes as detox pathways phase 1 and phase 2, and talk a little bit about that because as I talk to different people and listen to people at conferences on low carb, high fat, and keto, and do nutritional therapy with clients, I find that we need to address the health of our liver and making sure it's working. And part of that is the benefits of fasting once a week, once a month, doing if you could do 24 hours to 72 hours, which I have not done yet. I can do 24 hours easily with one meal a day. But I think intermittent fasting is really helpful, as Dr. Barry and I talked to Dr. Nally, and he was saying, Dr. Nally is the one that said, the best way to do liver detox is to fast. So I want to address those questions and concerns today on this special Thursday edition of Real Thoughts with Debbie Potts. So let's go into the role of the liver and what it does. And you can find more in my free ebook about the liver and the toxins in our environment on debbiepotts.net. You can find the free ebook somewhere there to sign up and grab that book. So let's go into what I'm learning in nutritional therapy. And right now I'm studying to be a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, where it's all about metabolic chaos and identifying external, internal, hidden stressors and helping people create healing opportunities by identifying different sources of stress. And part of that is lab testing and creating healing opportunities. So it's really fun and just totally overlaps with my WHOLESTIC Method program. So let's go in what the liver role is. And then I want to talk about phase 1 detoxification pathways and phase 2, as I find it very interesting. And you put that with genetic methylation cycles, which we have a great podcast coming out soon, all about MTHR and our methylation cycles. So let's start with what the role of the liver is. So let's go into how to enhance detoxification and elimination. So the body eliminates toxins by either directly neutralizing them or excreting them through our urine or feces, as well as through our hair, lungs, and skin. So that's why we want to make sure we sweat and we perspire, breathing heavier respiration through our lungs by exercising, getting our heart rate up a little bit each week. The kidneys, lymph, and the colon are also organs of detoxification. The toxins in the body accumulate, and if we overload our liver, we can't eliminate them fast enough. So that's why it's really important to have proper detox pathways and make sure all of our elimination pathways are open and working correctly, so we don't have this overload of toxins hanging out in our body. So as I said, the skin plays a role in detoxification, why we want to sweat using saunas, infrared sauna, dry skin brushing helps, and exercising, but getting sweaty. I think a lot of people don't exercise doing HIIT training when appropriate. Not everyone should do HIIT training if they haven't been exercising. But, getting yourself sweating's good. So that's why the infrared is really helpful to use, which I can't wait till I bring my infrared home, because I have my Sunlighten near mid and far infrared sauna at my studio that's closing in October. And guess where that infrared sauna is going? Downstairs into my new treatment room in my house that I get to use. So the liver the role the liver plays in detoxification is that it filters the blood by removing large toxins. So examples of a toxin are bacteria, bacterial products, and our immune complexes. Also, bile secretion helps carry the fat-soluble toxins away. And examples of toxins for there are just excess cholesterol, hemoglobin, breakdown of products, and excess calcium. And then the liver plays a role in our phase 1 detoxification. So this is what we're going to go into a little bit more, but how the phase 1 detoxification used primarily the cytochrome P450 enzymes you may have heard about, and either by directly neutralizing the toxin, making it more water soluble and converting it into an active form so that it can be processed in the next phase, phase 2. So phase 1 breaks apart. So breaking up those toxins into separate parts. The cytochrome P450 enzymes help that process. And then we go into kind of the next step of the washing machine is phase 2 is conjugation. It binds to a toxin to neutralize it and make it more easily available to excrete via our urine and bile. So through our kidneys peeing out the toxins and bile through the feces. So that's why it's so important to have our phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification systems working, because think of the toxins that we have in our body. Say if you're taking any medications, ibuprofen, caffeine, histamine, hormones, pesticides, which are around us every day, and we need to be able to get rid of the toxins in our body by neutralizing it, making it water soluble, and making it more active form that can be processed in the next phase. So then we've got the phase 2 detoxification. So as I said, these pathways involve conjugation, where the compound binds to a toxin and either neutralizes it or makes it more easily excreted through the urine or the bile. So this is a supplement I just was sharing with clients in my Low Carb Athlete Facebook page, that glutathione is a master antioxidant that I take daily, and it's really helped me. But what works for me doesn't work for you. But for me, I really needed extra glutathione, because the glutathione is really important antioxidant. And it helps with this phase 2 detoxification. Glutathione conjugates with toxins and requires vitamin B6, which is why I also supplement with the liposomal B complex drops, both from Quicksilver. So examples of toxins we talk about, this is all from my FDN program, that as a practitioner, we work on this same in nutritional therapy. As a practitioner, it's really important to have this role of the liver optimized, because it does over 500 different jobs. So especially we want the detox pathways working. So example of toxins, nicotine is example that needs to be removed. There's also amino acid conjugation. So the conjugation of toxins with amino acids work with glycine, taurine, glutamine, arginine, and orthonine. So anything with ine, I-N-E at the end. And the toxins that would bind to would include benzenate and aspirin. Then methylation, which we're doing a great podcast coming up, as I said, with on methylation and genetics, MTHR. But the methyl groups work with SAMe and bind with toxins as dopamine, epinephrine, histamine, and arsenic. So they help get the excess amount. So we'll talk about that in our upcoming podcast. That is like same that Goldilocks effect. We don't want too much dopamine or too little dopamine. We want the right amount, that bell curve. Epinephrine, histamine, same thing. And arsenic, obviously, we don't want. But the other enzyme needed is a sulfation cycle of the detox pathways. So That's when the sulfur-containing compounds that require cysteine, methionine, and molybdenum. That is also a supplement that we find in nutritional therapy a lot of people benefit from. So the sulfation cycle of phase 2 detox, that often binds with a toxin as estrogen and blood thinning drugs. So think about if you don't have enough sulfur in the right amount, and we talk a lot about it in that book, Your Genius Body, that we're going to dive into coming up on the methylation cycle podcast, is the importance of removing the excess hormones and used up estrogen so we don't have too much to get that right balance. And then there's some other ones we'll go into another time, but I'll put this on the show notes, but the liver phase 2 detoxification is really important. So if you don't have enough of the B vitamins, you don't have enough of acetyl coenzyme A, glutathione, it's really important to have all this working properly. So to support phase 1 detoxification, as I said, we need the required nutrients for phase 1 is niacin, vitamin B1, which is also known as thiamine, and vitamin C. And with every toxin metabolized by phase 1, a free radical is generated. So that's why the free radicals, I want to do a whole show on as well, talks about oxidative stress and how and why we need more antioxidants and getting them through what we're eating. But also, I think a lot of us endurance athletes put more oxidative stress in our body that we need even more antioxidants. So supplementing may be beneficial for endurance athletes who are doing a little bit more than the average person of oxidative stress on our body. So for supporting our phase 2 liver detoxification, we want to make sure we're optimizing that pathway. And if it's dysfunctional, think about what happens if phase 1 toxins that are broken apart. Remember, phase 1 breaks apart, and then the phase 2 binds to the toxin. So it neutralizes it and make it more easily excreted. And if phase 1 is phase 1 is hanging around, the toxins are hanging around longer because phase 2 is not working, and then we have a lot more toxins floating around in our body. So it's important to have that phase 2 function working. Because what I'm learning more about is the glutathione is needed for both phase 1 and phase 2. So if we have so much need for phase 1 liver detoxification with glutathione, if we use up all of our glutathione, phase 2 liver detoxification is limited because we don't have enough of the required nutrients. So glutathione, vitamin B6, glycine, SAMe, cysteine, methionine, and molybdenum is needed for the phase 2 pathways. And phase 2, as those amino acids, we need to eat more high quality protein foods, is why it kind of makes more sense, all these keto carnivores out there. But we need to have more proteins that we can properly digest and break down so we can get those amino acids from the protein. So it's interesting, Reed Davis talks in our program why we should avoid juice fasts, that they can actually make things worse. So he was telling us that it's common to temporarily feel better during or after a juice fast, but the reason is typically due to the fact that you remove the problem, your foods that you're sensitive to, that you react to, because you're just doing juice. But a juice fast does mobilize toxins, so it upregulates the phase 1 liver detoxification. So you're pulling those toxins out of the different sites of the body. Usually toxins are stored in our fat cells, and then we're getting the toxins into our circulation. The problem is amino acids, remember, they come from proteins. We need proper protein digestion, especially stomach acid needs to be right. So often we need that HCl supplement to get more acidity to break down our proteins properly to help digestion and the following phases occur on time. But they drive the phase 2 liver detoxification. So when you're doing a juice fast, if you're not having enough or any protein, you're mobilizing those toxins from the fat cells, well, they'll just redistribute. So because you're not having any amino acids to work in phase 2, which again is conjugation, they're binding, those amino acids are binding to those toxins to neutralize them and help them be more easily excreted and exit out through our urine and our poop. Our bile removes the toxins. So we want to make sure everything's functioning right. Our bile is coming from the liver and the gallbladder. The bile is stored in the gallbladder, but the liver and gallbladder need to be working right, as well as we are drinking enough water to help those kidneys flush out those toxins, as well as proper poop throughout the day. And a lot of people don't poop right or poop enough or at all. So you want to see a functional diagnostic nutritionist, a FDN practitioner to help you with all this, or a nutritional therapist, and help test through in nutritional therapy. We do a functional evaluation on your body if you're local, but that's why I'm doing FDN, because it's nice to be able to work with people around the world and do lab testing to help figure out what we need to work on, though we treat everything, not just one thing. So that's why I love FDN, because we're kind of putting all this information together, as I say, putting pieces of the puzzle together to figure out how we can optimize your health from the inside out once we identify those hidden stressors, which could be not good liver detoxification processes. So we want to support the elimination pathways. So remember, once the toxins are conjugated in phase 2, they need to be removed from the body via the kidneys, via urine, pee, or feces in the bile. The bile comes out, collects the toxins, and it goes out through the feces. I'm repeating this because that's how I learn. If you keep hearing the same thing over and over again, hopefully you follow me. So without adequate hydration, as I just said, we need to drink enough water. So we suggest half your body weight in ounces a day. And usually I find most people need some sea salt electrolytes in there to retain that water to be hydrated. And any extra caffeinated diuretic beverages as your morning coffee, you will add another 12 ounces or so of water to that total amount you need per day. But also we need enough dietary fiber so the toxins don't accumulate and get reabsorbed in the body. Because if we are dehydrated and lacking that fiber, those toxins are just removed, conjugated, and then hanging out. So bacteria in the colon can modify these compounds and even make them more harmful. So we don't want those toxins in our body. We want to eliminate them. So that's why we want to do some fasting, intermittent fasting, eating less throughout the day so your body has more time to do all of this. So, key notes: water helps flush toxins through kidneys, as well as facilitates the passage of feces through the colon. So many people are dehydrated. So if you're constipated, those toxins are stored in your body. You're not eliminating them. So you probably don't just need fiber, you just need to drink more water. Because most of my clients are really struggling to drink enough water and don't carry water in their car and in their office and throughout their day. So, and don't drink while you eat. That's another topic. So you don't want to drink while you're eating because you'll dilute the stomach acid and digestive enzymes. So drink throughout the day, but not when you eat. Soluble fiber binds to toxins and then removes these toxins from the body with the feces. So I think you got all that. So make sure you have at least one good solid poop per day. But that is a big part of our stress, is what we talk about, the hidden stressors in our body, and having those toxins floating around in our body, not working on eliminating them. So we want to work on always what we eat, how we eat, and when we eat. So eating more healthy sources of fatty animal protein, meats, and getting your amino acids with proper digestion. So we want to be sitting, relaxing when we're eating, be in the parasympathetic nervous system state, and we want to chew our food 20 to 30 times. Most people just inhale their food and rush really fast. So you're stopping digestion, natural processes right there. And so I want you to sit, relax, take 2 or 3 deep breaths in, and just stop, pause, reset before you start eating. And then perhaps you need some HCl supplements and digestive enzymes, as we talked with BioOptimizers recently about their new supplement that I absolutely love called Capex, that has everything in it to help digestion that you can take with your meal and also in the morning when you're fasting. But it really helps that digestive processes and optimize our gut health and our elimination of toxins. So you want to work on what we eat, but working on chewing the food, digesting it properly with HCl supplements perhaps, and digestive enzymes, not drinking water or too many liquids with your meal, wait till afterwards, and then make sure you go poop each day. So if you don't poop at least once and it's not a good solid poop, you want to figure out what's going on with your body. So I would look at hydration throughout the day and work on your stress, because if you're stressed all the time, that's going to impact your digestion. So we want to work with a practitioner that can help you figure it out and understand what your goals are, and you're identifying your main complaints and working on lab results and figuring out where your healing opportunities are, as we don't treat anything specific in FDN and nutritional therapy. We work on treating everything non-specifically and working on each client's individuality. And that's what I love about FDN, is from my own experience starting in 2013, when I had my chronic stress disease, metabolic chaos, I was seeing doctor after doctor, and all I was doing is getting lab testing and supplements. And that wasn't the only thing, because that was treating the lab results. And we don't do that in FDN. That's why I love how we work with each client and really find everything and just treat all of that, instead of just taking labs and supplement and just working on thinking that's going to fix me, is really working on the lifestyle habit. So I've called it since 2013, I created the WHOLESTIC Method, treating the whole athlete from the inside out. And FDN, they call it the Dress for Health Success program. So we work on D, diet, so what you're eating, and dress, the R is rest for sleep. And then we've got E, exercise, the Goldilocks effect. I always say the right amount for you, not too much, not too little. Find the right amount, and it depends on your health complaints, areas of opportunity, and what's going on with your body, if you should do less or more. And then we work on stress, of course, is the main area, chronic stress that leads to all these metabolic dysfunctions inside our body. And then the last one is supplementation. So we work on creating a protocol for you based on all this information we get, working on the labs and working on your lifestyle habits, your history, your main complaints, and figure out what we need to do to help you feel better, move better, and look better from the inside out. So we want to identify those healing opportunities. Those hidden internal stressors are hormone, immune, digestion, detoxification, our energy systems, and our nervous systems. And then we work on finding those areas that kind of all correlate with each other, those hidden internal stressors creating malfunction. So it could be eating wrong for your metabolic type, having blood sugar dysregulation, eating foods that you're sensitive to and reacting to. So we do an MRT test to figure out your food sensitivities, metabolic typing. I like to have people test their blood sugar and ketones myself, working on your sleep. So if you don't sleep through the night, let's figure out, going backwards, what's causing your sleep. It could be, excess cortisol, melatonin is off, because those kind of go up in opposition. One is up, one is down. So if their circadian rhythm is out of whack, cortisol rhythm is out of whack, there's going to be sleep disruption. And then also blood sugar is related to that, because remember, every blood sugar response, or rather saying that backwards, every stress response is a blood sugar response. And then there's also those gut issues, right? So we've got parasites, bad bacteria, viruses, fungal infections that we can figure out what's going on in that gut with the a biohealth 401H test that we use, and figuring out what are some additional hidden stressors. Now, we don't know if that is a reason you have stress. I think these are all contributors to your stress, because your stress could have caused your immune system to be down, your digestive system to be off. Remember that body needs to be in parasympathetic state when we're eating, and that first line of defense includes your stomach acid, which is supposed to protect you from getting those bad guys coming in. So it's all related. You can't really pinpoint, oh, I have this chronic stress problem because of a parasite infection, but it could have been because of your weak, your line of defenses, your border is broken down, your wall of barriers dysfunctional. Then also we can test for heavy metals, drug, chemicals. You can find if you have environmental issues, radiation, excess EMF. So there's so much we can look at, figure out where your internal and external stressors are coming from. But our goal in FDN is to restore normal function and health. And so we have to identify and remove those hidden internal stressors, and we don't know what they are unless we do lab testing. So that's why I'm adding FDN into my programs that I'm offering clients, because I can't help people if we don't know the whole picture to treat the whole athlete. So a lot of times we do need supplements, as I said, for our detoxification and our methylation cycles. So I really felt better recently by taking a B complex liposomal from quicksilver and a glutathione and a mitochondria support. And I've just been taking those in the morning. I've been taking True Niagen. It really helps just my health at a cellular level. But that works for me. And so that's why we want to make sure you are not just taking whatever supplements based on what I say, or you hear or read on another podcast blog article you get. It's so individualized. So that's why nutritional therapy is beneficial, because we can test them against your body. If you're a local client, nutritional therapists can help test the supplements on you against your body with muscle testing, or this neurolingual testing, we call it. So I find a lot of times people are afraid to take vitamin supplements. They don't want to take pill, but we don't get enough of the nutrients that we used to from our food. One, the soil is not as quality. We're missing a lot of minerals from the soil. Our food is often coated in sprays and GMO and different products that just are not the same anymore. It's like you go to Europe and the food tastes so different, right? And you come home like, ugh, this just has no flavor to it. So everything's just kind of ruined down from our years of, I don't know what people have done, all these sprays in the soil, and everything's gotten damaged. The quality's gone downhill. So we need to take some supplements, maybe for not forever, but just support temporarily those, what we talk about FDN, those vital voids for those that may be lacking in normal production. So we have to bring the body back into homeostasis. The body has its own innate intelligence to knows how to run by itself. But sometimes we just need to reset and reboot the body systems by having some digestive enzymes, some HCl, some adrenal HPA axis support, and really help get that blood sugar stable and the hormones in balance, and all of it works together. But most everyone needs digestive support and some type of hyper or hypoadrenal support, or maybe HPA axis support, to really bring their body back in alignment. So we put all this together, recommend a plan, and making sure you're treating yourself that what feels best for you, and looking at different protocols that you feel that can work for you, and working on that innate intelligence that the body has to bring it back. So stress is a big part of it all, and that's my focus, is help people reduce the chronic stress from our lifestyle habits, from energy robbers in our life, from the foods we're eating that's causing stress, and working on those lab tests to figure out what are the hidden stressors inside of us that are adding to that stress. So you may have heard some podcasts I've talked about that bucket of stress, that beaker of stress that kind of pours in, think on top of your head into your brain, the hypothalamus, and it has so much to filter. And your brain doesn't know, your hypothalamus doesn't know good stress to bad stress. It just is too much of anything is going to accumulate and overfill your beaker of stress. So your tolerance for stress varies per person. That's why it's important to look at the genetic profile to see your tolerance to stress. And looking at methylation cycle, we'll dive into soon, how your genetics can influence your ability to have excess stress hormones in your body systems, or you're eliminating those extras. So I just want to talk about liver detoxification today, and then we'll dive in a little more digestion, stomach acid on my future Debbie podcasts on Thursdays, and help you really learn about how to train the whole athlete from the inside out. The WHOLESTIC Method, remember, is 8 elements, and digestion is really important part of it, as well as, it's nutrition, exercise, sleep, stress, movement, mobility, our gut health, hydration, and happiness. And so we'll try to dive into each of those elements as I go through my notes as I study to become an FDN practitioner. I'll share some information of what I'm learning with you. Hopefully that will be of interest to you and help you learn more how you can help yourself. So stay tuned, stay connected. Low Carb Athlete is the new Facebook page I've added, and I'll add the research and question stuff in there. We still have the Whole Athlete podcast page, and everything is on debbiepotts.net. So stay in touch and let me know your questions. Today's show, we're just more focused on digestion, HCl, get the protein broken down, to get those amino acids to help our liver detox phase 1 and phase 2 processes. And also we can dive in another layer here is those amino acids make into neurotransmitters, and most of your serotonin's made in your gut, as well as your melatonin's made in your gut. So there's so much to learn and share with you of how we really can optimize our health from the inside out. So thanks for joining my journey. If you like what you're listening to, please share the podcast and give it a rating on iTunes and help us grow the podcast, as this is my way to create impact in the world. So if you're in different countries outside the US, that'd be even more exciting to have more listeners in Australia, the UK, and Europe, and help to spread this message out, how to train the whole athlete from the inside out with the WHOLESTIC Method. Enjoy your day, take time out to laugh and be happy.
Thanks for listening to the Whole Athlete Podcast. If you have any questions, feedback, or topic suggestions, let us know on Facebook or at wholeathletepodcast.com. You can help us continue and grow by leaving a review on iTunes. Thanks again, and see you next time.